Hey guys, my name's Hayden. I'm here with Mariah, Daniel, and Andrea, and we wanted to give you a little update on the progress of our semester project. So to start, we had a research question in mind, but upon proposal, we needed to tweak it a little bit. So we want to focus on does the usability of DMHI applications among college students have a direct impact on students' likelihood to use mental health resources? So that's a lot of words, but we made it more compact in that we want to directly focus on just does usability affect their likelihood to use the resources. And our initial hypothesis is that poor utility, functionality, and usability of the DMHI applications among the college students negatively affects their mental health, which in turn reduces their likelihood to use these mental health resources. So once again, lots of words, just to put simply that poor usability lessens the likelihood that they will use the mental resources.
So here we have the protocol for MySSP at Tamu app, which is provided by the Texas A&M Mental Health Services for students to use as a resource. The objectives for our experiment are to conduct formal usability testing procedures and to summarize usability differences to stakeholders. We start off with our participants trying to complete a general anxiety survey, which will sort of measure their participants' level of anxiety out of 21 points. From there, we have them find an anxiety exercise. Specifically, we have them find a breathing exercise called tree grounding exercise within the MySSP app, and we have them use the think aloud methods. From there, we have them complete a SUS evaluation on the usability scale based on their interaction within the app. Lastly, we observe and record the behaviors and make sure to record the time for each task completion. This is a different app that we have students use as well our participants as well. It is a free mental health resource app provided through the mobile app store. It is called Better Me. We have our participants also complete a general anxiety survey during this. And then we also have them find an anxiety exercise. Specifically, we have them find a 2-minute breathing exercise within the Better Me app while also using the Think Aloud method. After completing that, we have them complete an SUS evaluation to compare this usability scale in comparison to the previous app. Lastly, we still observe and record the behaviors and see how long it takes for the participant to complete each task. Here are some protocol changes that we decided to make after the pilot data collection. First, we decided to reword the protocol verbal script. We had find the tree grounding exercise before, and after that, we found that we had participants struggling to find the specific video itself and attempted to find an breathing exercise video. So we decided to change the protocol verbal script to find a breathing exercise named tree grounding exercise. Next, we decided to change the participant specific task, and this is related to the Better Me app. We had before find a quick 2-minute activity that will help reduce anxiety. And we found that they were finding it pretty easily within the homepage. And so we wanted to be more specific and have them find something outside of the homepage. So after our change, we decided to change it to find the reduce anxiety 2-minute activity outside of the homepage.
Awesome. Before we began our data search, we wanted to do some preliminary testing to see if these apps were good apps to gain data from. So what we found is that there was a big difference between the time to complete with MySSP and BetterMe. As we can see, MySSP had a high average of about 90 seconds per activity, whereas BetterMe had about 15 seconds. Within our SUS scores, we found that MySSP had an average of 35, while BetterMe had an average of 92.5, further suggesting that these are two really good apps that we can compare and we can give great recommendations based on our testing.
So moving on to our first two official participants in our pilot experiment, we took two main scores in average heart rate and the SUS score. So as you can see on the left, there was no real correlation in the first two participants' heart rate and the difficult website and the easy to use website. That might change as we go along, but for now, there seems to be no significant difference. But as for SUS scores, they follow the preliminary participant data in that the SUS scores were much higher for Better Me than for MySSP. The one difference being they did rate MySSP higher than the preliminary participants, but it's still not high enough to be usable and nowhere near as usable as Better Me was.
Awesome. So our plan moving forward to kind of complete all our data collection, but for Thanksgiving week. So we have our week 11, which we just passed and kind of presented some of our data that we collected. So this week we hope to collect data from 4 to 5 participants, getting our first data collection from all the corrections to the protocol and things like that. On week 13, we hope to finish up with our last 4 to 5 participants. We really want to make sure that we have an equal amount of males and females to get a good perspective of how this might change between gender. And also on week 14, which is Thanksgiving week, we want to finish all remaining data and make sure to start analyzing it and seeing what comes out of it. And yeah.
Some challenges that we encountered were the ECG issues where we couldn't accurately register the heart rate for one of the participants. And also we didn't provide good instructions to participants on how to accurately put on the placement of the ECG monitor. And then our verbal directions were difficult to comprehend and we had to repeat a few steps a couple times. That also included an inconsistent data where participants did not equally use the thinking out loud method. And our team organization was a little unorganized due to the interference of each other's rules because we had an unbalanced workload distribution between all of us. What we learned about working as a team was first assigning roles equally and communicate our tasks for before, during, and after the experiment. Also our organization where we prepare the necessary equipment that we are responsible for, and then to communicate with each participant without interfering with one another's roles and responsibilities. And finally, to be open to accept feedback from one another and discuss how to improve our team workload distribution. And that was our first process protocol. Thank you so much for watching.